And what is quality of life? To me, quality of life is still having those moments where you have a beautiful conversation with your child. Those moments where you look forward to a good meal. Those moments where you watch something that just, makes you laugh. It's seeing beauty, it's a garden, and it's still having things to look forward to. So what I learned in this was, let's play the music. Don't let the music stop.
Right.
And that's the secret, is don't let the music stop.
It's kind of this paradox though, right? Because on the one hand, you're arguing, which I think is the profound center of this thing, is the reason we've had nursing homes and all this age segregation is we don't want to talk about death and we don't want to deal with aging, and we're these Americans who don't want to acknowledge limitations or illness. And on the other hand, you're saying that the sort of like longevity comes from not giving up before you give up, right? Like not ending it before it ends. So how do you hold that? I mean, how do you get people to face death, face aging, face illness, but also with some level of peace, some level of surrender that's necessary for some of the kinds of patients you're working with, but also hold out that there is still joy to be had?
Well, I would just like to, before I answer that, I would like to say about our society and how they view aging.
Right.
Because I believe, first of all, we have to look at, we're all living longer. And are we living better?
Right.
So when you look at the longer years, it's not your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, it's as an older adult.
Right.
Okay? So we have to watch our stereotypes and think back in your life how you viewed, older people.
Right.
Was it like, they're not sharp enough, or there they are getting on the cruise ship and that's not going to be me, and so how do you see your stereotypes? Because I think we need a paradigm shift on how we actually view aging in America, because as I mentioned before, the invisibility. People feel, am I a burden? Am I not a burden? So by teaching our young people how to have conversations, by allowing grandmothers to not just feel that they need to be a grandmother to a biological grandchild, but that they can be a grandmother to the kids down the street, to young children who are abused, that need love. So part of going into older age is about finding purpose and meaning. Because we had this idea of retirement at 65, and this is nothing against golf and bridge in the room, because that's huge. That's a connector. That's a social network. But what happens when your golf swing isn't like it used to be in 4 years? What do you do, right? Where's the purpose? Where's the meaning? Where do you feel needed?
Right.
So part of working with people is helping them look at where can they still make a contribution.
Right.
Right? Where can they still have purpose? Where can they give back? Helping them understand what they stand for, that then can follow the volunteering, the connecting. Because I want to tell you, the one thing amongst the aging is when 70% are women over the age of 75, and social isolation is the biggest epidemic, and loneliness.
Right.
And loneliness.
Right.
And that is what we're facing as a healthcare crisis, is loneliness and isolation, and especially magnitude at that older period of life for single women. That is why I'm thrilled about this housing.
Right.
Because then we can all not have to be. So what can we do to prepare? Quickly, we can really watch of how we become socially connected with each other. Okay, so you prepare by, and this is a great group because we're all connected and we have clubs and we do things and things like that. But it's also about providing that opportunity for seniors, for older people, even people with chronic illness. The groups that when you don't feel alone and you feel like you're not separated, like you are still a part of society, that is the type of environments that we absolutely have to have. And then the ability within your own life to even prepare now of where can you give back. Because this aspect of giving back, I learned a lot with cancer patients. What was it that when a cancer patient would have chemo and be sitting there in the chair that they would say, when I get better, I want to give back? Because it was something that they learned, that is the secret of happiness.
Right.